What if love didn't come with answers? What if losing someone felt like losing the air you breathe? Some songs don't just belong to the radio. They belong to moments, to memories, to movies that made us feel everything at once. This is the story of a song that refused to fade. A voice too young to carry such heartbreak you did, and a soundtrack that turned longing into timeless emotion. This is How Do I Live? Welcome to Soundscape, where songs aren't just heard, they live inside us. In this episode of Songs Behind the Soundtrack, we explore a ballad that blurred the line between film and feeling, a song that asked one simple question: how do I live without you? Before she became a global voice of heartbreak, LeAnn Rimes was just a child with an extraordinary gift. Born in Mississippi in 1982 and raised in Texas, LeAnn showed musical talent before most kids could even spell their own name. At just 13 years old, she stunned the world with Blue, becoming one of the youngest country stars in history. But fame came early, and so did an emotional weight far beyond her years. By the mid-1990s, LeAnn wasn't just a country singer. She was a voice capable of carrying deep emotion, even when she was still growing into adulthood herself. Then came a song that would change everything. In 1997, Hollywood released the action thriller Con Air, starring Nicolas Cage. Explosions, prisoners, high-stakes chaos. And yet, at the emotional center of the film was a quiet, aching love story. The song chosen to represent that longing was How Do I Live, written by legendary songwriter Diane Warren. The song was meant to capture the pain of separation, the fear of losing someone who defines your existence. Originally recorded for the film's soundtrack, the song became something bigger than the movie itself. It became a feeling. How Do I Live isn't about drama or betrayal, it's about dependence, about emotional survival. The lyrics don't ask for grand gestures, they ask for understanding. How do I live without you? I want to know. Every line feels like a quiet confession. Every note stretches the space between hope and fear. What makes the song unforgettable is how young LeAnn Rimes was when she recorded it. Her voice carries a maturity beyond her eye-trembling strength, a vulnerability that feels honest, not performed. The song doesn't rush. It lets emotion breathe, and somehow, it feels like a letter you were never meant to read, but did anyway. How Do I Live became one of the most successful ballads of all time. It spent 69 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, became one of the best-selling singles in history, and crossed over from country to pop and adult contemporary charts. It played at weddings, during breakups, and on quiet nights alone. But numbers don't explain its power. The song endured because it speaks to a universal fear. What happens when the person you love is no longer there? It didn't belong to one generation. It belonged to anyone who has ever loved deeply. Let's pause here. When you hear How Do I Live, what memory comes back first? A movie moment, a relationship, a time when you didn't know how to move forward? Share it in the comments below, and tell us which soundtrack song should Soundscape explore next. Your story could guide our next episode. How Do I Live changed LeAnn Rimes' career forever. It proved she wasn't just a prodigy, she was a storyteller. The song introduced her to a global audience and cemented her as a voice capable of carrying immense emotional weight. Decades later, the song still appears in films, playlists, and memories. It's often described as timeless because heartbreak never goes out of style. This song reminds us that love doesn't always give answers. Some questions stay with us forever, and music can say what words alone cannot. How Do I Live doesn't offer solutions. It offers understanding. Some songs fade with time. How Do I Live is one of those songs, a reminder that love leaves echoes long after it's gone. This has been Soundscape, where songs aren't just soundtracks, they're the stories behind our feelings. Thanks for watching.